Good evening, basketball fans. My name is Tom Smith. Sitting to my right is varsity girls basketball coach here at Speedway High School, Joe Smith. We are in Morris Pollard Gymnasium, Speedway, Indiana, for tonight's game between the Lady Sparkplugs and the Triton Central Cougars. Coach, let's talk about, first of all, prior to tonight's game, you have played 9 games so far. Tell us some high points and some points of emphasis you need to work on in practice and things through the first 9 games.
Yeah, human nature is I can tell you the stuff we need to work on first, but I won't do that. I'll talk about the season. So, this is about the halfway point for us tonight. You know, we're at 10 games and we'll play 20 to 22 or ish this season. We're about where I thought we would be at this point. After having a pretty good June, I kind of had a pretty good gauge. I mean, we're really, really young. 60% of our roster had never played in a high school game before this year. So we knew it was going to be some growing pains, and it has been. But there's been some bright spots along the way. Haley Clampett played really, really well in our last game. She practiced really well yesterday, and she's getting to the point where we expected her to be all along. Madeline Metallic has played better early a little bit better than I thought she would, because sometimes, you know, you're playing against 18-year-olds and you're 14 years old and you just don't know how those kids are going to respond. But I think she's done a pretty good job. I think she doesn't play like a freshman, which helps. And Macy DeLisle's had some bright spots for us. Our 2 seniors have done a good job of trying to lead us. They understand where things are supposed to happen and how they're supposed to happen. Miley Walton's finally back from her injury, so that helps us as well. So in terms of, what we need to work on, just game experience is important, but skill work is really important. We spend a lot of time shooting the basketball and doing defensive drills and footwork and things of that nature. I'm the philosophy that I think at least half of your practice has to be skill work. It can't be scrimmaging and those things. Now we do scrimmage some, but usually only about 20 to 25% of our practices is a scrimmage situation. And we have young kids. Our JV kids are young. We told our girls the other night, because they're so young, we actually have to have 2 of our coaches in practice with us. Coach Del Carobo and Coach Cooper actually suit up every day and practice against our kids. But we have to use games to get game experience, and I think we're starting to figure that out. This is obviously a tough week with finals, and we're trying to keep practices short, sweet, trying to get some things accomplished to try to make us better for the season.
Well, there isn't any doubt when you just said finals, the mantra for a long, long time here at Speedway High School is truly the term student athletes. And the young ladies we have interviewed from your basketball team over the last several years have been as good as students as there are in the school, and to keep all those things balanced.
Right.
And for you to play your part in helping that balance, but your job also, task is to teach them as much basketball as they can absorb and learn.
Right.
And anybody who's ever coached the game or been a real student of the game knows that inexperience and young players, unless you're a 5-star athlete somewhere, that being young is such a disadvantage when you're playing teams that have hold. Now,
it is.
Having said that, Triton Central has a young basketball team as well. Talk to me a little bit specifically about Triton Central girls team.
They're young, but they are, I've told, if you have any idea, anybody watches high school girls basketball and they know anything about it, Triton Central's been the predominant team in Central Indiana for a long time. Had Hall of Fame coaches, and Brian Graham, the coach now, does just such a good job. They're always well-skilled, doesn't matter how young or how old they are. The Felling girl is really good. She's number 13. She's averaging almost 25 a game. And it's easier said than done. But, if you can limit her, we don't tell our girls we're going to shut her down. That's not because she's going to get her points. I think when you use that verbiage with kids and you say you got to shut her down, you can't let her score, and then she scores 2, and then it's like they get defeated. And so we just say we want to limit her. We want to keep her under her average. And they're all guard-oriented. We have a size advantage tonight. I think they'll pressure us. If anybody's watched us play, that's been our nemesis, and that's stuff we work on every single day is pressure, full court presses when people are doing that to us, press breakers, and how we're going to score and those types of things. For not being very big, they do play man, and I think their philosophy is pressure out front, so that if there is a size advantage, like Haley Clampett is, 6'1", 6'2", that, we can't get the ball to her. That's what I think they'll do to us tonight. We'll play a lot of zone tonight just because we have a hard time matching up as well because, when we have the height advantage, that's a good thing on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, it's hard for a 6'1" girl to guard somebody that's 5'6". So we've done some different things with our zone, so we'll kind of mix it up between a 1-2-2 and a 3-2 and an extended aggressive 2-3. So we'll see. I mean, just trying to – we've had a good day of practice. It would be a shame if we didn't play well tonight. We just tell our kids, we want to win, don't get us wrong, but, we want you to compete and play hard. Those are the things that if you'll do that, everything else will fall into place. And the times we haven't done that, we have not fared very well.
I know in your last game against Heron, you kind of changed things up a little bit. Madeline played out front some, and I assume that will put her involved with the press, should they press. Is that something you can see from the Heron game, that is something you say we want to keep working on the changes we made? And I know that Haley will be back in the lineup tonight, but we did some things in that game that maybe showed some improvement in areas of where people were positioned and so on. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, we put the ball in Madeline's hands a little bit more. Not that Calissa had done a bad job. Calissa absolutely plays her tail off every single day. Whether it's a game, it's a practice, it's a drill, she knows one speed, she knows 100%, and that's a great thing. Yeah. So she'll still play some one for us, but I told her, I said, not that this isn't a punishment, but I said to have our point guard, which was Calissa, to be our run the floor, tell people what they're doing, guard the best player on the other team. That's a lot to ask a high school kid to do. Yeah. So I said, I think it'll help getting you off the ball a little bit, and that'll be a little bit. I said, you're going to play some one for us. You're still going to be able to handle the ball. The other night, she did a good job of still directing people and telling us where to go. And I think we'll stay with that tonight. Haley Clampett will be back in the lineup. She proved that she can do that. And I kind of just simplified it for Haley. I think I put a little bit too much pressure on her early in the season with my expectations, and I just said, let's go back. I said, I just want you to defend, rebound, and play hard. Right. And when we told her that, then all of a sudden it's like it's a new girl. She's smiling at practice, and she's smiling at the game the other night. She had a very good practice, like I said, yesterday. So we would hope, my guess will be if they pressure us, I think they'll double Haley inside. I think they're going to have to. Yeah. We'll run some sets for her inside, get her ISO'd one-on-one, but I think they'll have to do that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they ran two people at Madeline tonight and just said, all right.
Let the others.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, Macy's a shooter. Everybody knows that, and maybe they'll take their chances and say, you know what, let's see if she'll hit them, and then we'll adjust. But I think they'll do – that's what I think that they'll do very well.
You mentioned Calissa Jackson-Dietz earlier. I think works as hard on defense, and I know the very first game that I did of your girls' game, I said she guards people like you don't want to be guarded when you're on offense. Get away from me. It's like a gnat there on you that you can't lose her or get rid of her, and she is there all the time, and she certainly is a real asset defensively, and I know she is one of your leaders as well.
She is.
Having Miley come back too, having not had her several of the early games you've had, as she gets back into the swing of things, that will help your team also.
And I think we would probably, if Miley was playing from day one, I think we'd have a couple more wins under our belt. And as you know, with kids, they look at that and they want wins. Yeah. I mean, that's depleting to them when it's not. But, she got back, and she got back much sooner than we thought she would. I actually – originally, when she got hurt in soccer, I didn't think she would be back probably until after Christmas was just kind of my thought preparing. And then when she got back earlier, that just helped us a lot.
I know you've got another game Saturday night at Southport. Talk to me a little bit about after that is the break. They've been going, kids that played volleyball or soccer had maybe a week in between when basketball. What do you do at Saturday night, next week? Wednesday is Christmas. What do you do during that break that you'll have?
Well, the nice thing was Dan Maple and I worked on our schedule, and that was the one thing I didn't want to do was play over break. I didn't want to have a game because I feel like kids need that time off. And you're right, some of them haven't had any. Since the season has started, I think we have given them a day of break. So after Saturday night, next Monday, we will get together. We'll have a quick team meeting, do some leadership stuff with our kids. And we're going to do our free throw-a-thon, which is another fundraiser for us. We'll do that, and that'll take us an hour maybe. And then we will have our annual team holiday dinner at my house. All the kids will come over and all the coaches, and we'll feed everybody. And the kids will do a Secret Santa gift exchange that day. And that's always kind of the highlight of this time of the year. The kids just – it's fun to just watch them be kids in the house and not have a ball in their hands. So, but after that, we will not practice again until the following Monday. So they will have, I mean, I say we're doing stuff next Monday. It's free throws really is all we're shooting with this free throw-a-thon to raise money for our program. And but we won't practice on the floor and do anything until the following Monday, which is the 30th. So, and then we'll have 5 days of prep before we play our next game. So we got some time, and it's just. I know I'm looking forward to it. I know the kids are as well with finals and the stresses of that. It'll be a good time and a good chance to just kind of separate and get germs away from each other and have them enjoy some family time and not have to worry about basketball.
Yeah. Well, congratulations for that. That doesn't happen. Some people are so zeroed in. We can't give them that. I think that's a good thing, particularly at a school like ours. I was thinking the other day, there's an awful lot of schools that have you play one sport.
Right.
Speedway High School couldn't function if everybody played one sport.
No.
Most athletes here play at least two, and many of them play three. And,
we only have, I think out of our whole roster, we only have about 2 or maybe 3 that didn't play a fall sport. So they've all been going since
early August.
Yeah. And put the summer in there, and they've been going since June. So much
you got to give
needed
them time to
off.
be a kid.
Yep. Well, I don't think in our society that doesn't happen very often.
No.
And it's good to do that with them.
Well, once again, congratulations. Good luck to the Plugs tonight. Maybe we can hold Mary Rose to 15 points instead of 25.
I'd be happy with that.
Okay. Well, we'll talk to you after the game.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yep.
We'll be right back. Once again, basketball fans, welcome to Speedway High School and Morris Pollard Gymnasium. I am Tom Smith. To my right is Ron Probst, former boys basketball coach here and teacher at Speedway High School, an outstanding teacher at that, Coach. Tonight we're here for the girls varsity basketball game between the Triton Central Lady Tigers and the Speedway High School Lady Sparkplugs. The starting lineups first for Triton Central Tigers, Layla Compton, a 5'4" sophomore guard, number 1. Number 2 is Catherine Collier, a 5'6" sophomore guard. Number 10, Quinn King, a 5'2" sophomore guard. Number 13, a player we'll talk about in just a moment. Coach Smith talked about him in our pregame thing. Mary Rose Felling, number 13, a 5'8" junior, who is her leading scorer, averaging right around 24 points a game. She's also the leading rebounder. And rounding out the starting lineup for the Lady Tigers is Sophia Burbrink, a 5'6" sophomore forward. So they will start 4 sophomores and 1 junior. For the Lady Sparkplugs tonight, starting at 1 guard is number 11, Madeline Metallic, a 6-foot freshman. She's Speedway's leading scorer, averaging 12 points a game. Number 13, Calissa Jackson Dietzer, a 5'4" senior, is also at guard. Also a guard for the Sparkplugs, the number 23, Macy Delisle, 5'9" junior and second leading scorer, averaging 9 a game. And rounding out the 4th guard is Miley Walton, a 5'9" senior guard, who is returning 2 or 3 games ago from an injury that she had. We're looking for a good game from her tonight. Rounding out the starting lineup, Haley Clampett, a 6-foot junior. So the Sparkplugs will start 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and a freshman. Coach, talk to us a little bit. Mary Rose Felling. She is a player for our viewers tonight to watch, an outstanding scorer, and has been in Triton Central's fabled history.
Well,
they've had many.
They've had many. It's always kind of fun to talk about opponents. And, last year the boys had 3 games in a row where we played Shelbyville, Lebanon, and Martinsville. Of course, at Shelbyville, you're talking about Bill Garrett. Lebanon, you're talking about Rick Mount. Martinsville, you're talking about Johnny Wood. It's always kind of fun to talk about people who have played or associate with these schools. Triton Central, storied history. 1 losing season, Tom, since the year 2000. 1 losing season, and that was in 2002, 2003. They've had 10 20-game winning seasons. 10 times they've won 20 games or more in that time. 13 sectional championships, only 1 was in 1 class system, basically because they were in the same sectional as Rushville all those years, and it was very difficult to win. But a storied program. Have not really advanced a lot in a tournament. They've got a couple of regional championships. But you mentioned Felling, a good player. Her grandfather, Ron Felling, if you're an IU fan or not an IU fan, you may recognize the name. That he was an assistant at IU for Coach Knight for several years. So averaging 24 points a game, as you said, junior. We'll talk a little bit more after we get done. But started off slow this year. They were 0-4. They've won 5 of their last 6. Last 4 games are averaging 70 points a game. So it's a team that loves to get up and down, and a lot of young players as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Both teams will have 2 seniors on the roster. None of those seniors at Triton Central are starters, but will be coming off the bench. One of the players for Speedway tonight, who they will not have, is Addie Haberman-Smith, 6-foot sophomore forward, who had her wisdom teeth pulled today. So, and at this time we'll have our national anthem.
With the playing of our national anthem. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. First for the visiting Tigers from Triton Central. At guard, a 5'4" sophomore, number 1, Layla Compton. At guard, a 5'6" sophomore,
I
number
think
2,
this happens a
Catherine
lot in
Collier.
basketball. You look at the NBA, probably if it says they're 6'6", they're probably 6'4" or 6'5". I think Brian Graham, the head coach at Triton Central, I think he is one of those that kind of underestimates the height of his girls. And on the Speedway side, I'm not sure that all our girls, maybe they had high-soled shoes on there that I think some of them are not quite as tall as what they're listed, but nevertheless, hoping that this is a good basketball game. The Plugs can pull out a victory in this. Again, the starting lineup for the Plugs: Madeline Metallic, a freshman; Calissa Jackson Dietzer, a senior; Macy Delisle, a junior; Miley Walton, number 31, a senior; and rounding out the lineup, number 32, Haley Clampett. Haley Clampett in her last game was the leading scorer, had 16 points in their victory over Heron 2 days ago. The Plugs record is 3-6 at this time, and as Ron mentioned a moment ago, Brian Graham's Triton Central Ball Club is 6-5. Plugs get the opening tip. Madeline Metallic, a freshman, with the ball. And as Coach Smith mentioned, he kind of changed things around a little bit, moved her to point guard against Heron, which had good results. Macy Delisle from a long way away on the 3 misses.
Oh, nice save.
Calissa Jackson Dietzer throws it off at Triton Central player Quinn King, and it'll be spark plug ball.
Just kind of a play that we've come to expect from Calissa. She makes these plays all the time.
Macy Delisle with the field goal. In reference to longtime assistant basketball coach here, Jim Crumley, when things like that had happened, I'd be sitting on the bench next to him. We'd be ahead 2-0, and he'd say, "Turn out the lights." Full court press on the light switch. Game's over. Jim Crumley, 94 years old, I believe, in November. Still kicking and still has a great sense of humor.
Yes, he does.
Spark Plugs in a zone defense. Long 3-point shot attempt by Mary Rose Felling. And they're going to have somebody close to her all the time. Madeline Metallic on the drive, misses. Rebound by Felling, who's also, as we mentioned earlier, is their leading rebounder. She comes up short. Haley Clampett gets a rebound for the Spark Plugs. Macy Delisle over to Miley Walton, to Madeline Metallic. 3-point shot attempt is no good. And it'll be Triton Central's ball.
Some of Felling's numbers on the year, she's shooting 31% from 3-point line. She's averaging around 11 3-pointer shots a game, 72% from the line, so good shooter.
And we're seeing from the varsity here just what we saw in the JV game, and that being that they move the ball well against the zone. Madeline Metallic with the turnover, trying to get the ball to Calissa Jackson Dietzer. And we're going to have a foul on Macy Delisle, her first, the team's first. As Coach Smith has mentioned in prior games, Macy Delisle and Madeline Metallic and Haley Clampett are 3 people that they can't have get in foul trouble, who also have to be scorers for them. Sophia Burbrink misses the first free throw.
shooting 55% from the line on the year.
Misses the second, and it's going to be spark plug ball. So 2 minutes and 15 seconds gone in the game. The Triton Central Tigers with a 3-2 lead.
I think that was touched by a spark plug. Yep. Good officiating. Not in our favor, but
yeah,
it's good to see officials help each other, because that was obvious that it was tipped. But
and the one that had the best angle.
Yes.
You know, and it's kind of problematic for Coach Joe Smith in that you want to put some pressure on, but you don't want to foul. Mary Rose Felling with a short jump shot, her 5th point. I believe that was a foul that was missed. Madeline Metallic with a 3. And the spark plugs tie it up, 5-5. Mary Rose Felling from 3 misses. Burbrink gets a rebound. And the Lady Tigers with a 2-point lead. Quinn King with her first foul, and the first foul on the Lady Tigers. Jackson Dietzer inbounds to Haley Clamp, who misses. Jackson Dietzer saves it, but it goes to Mary Rose Felling. Long pass out down the floor. It's out of bounds for a turnover for Triton Central.
Right now, only 4 minutes into the game. I think if you're Speedway, this is kind of the pace that you want. I don't think you want to get up and down and run a lot. As I said, they're averaging a lot of points in the last 4 or 5 games. And we've hit a 3 and have hung with them so far. So, but this is just, I think, what the pace that we would like. We don't want to throw it away, obviously, but want to guard against the big runs that obviously this team has had in the last couple of weeks.
Well, averaging 70 points a game in 4 of those games tells you that they can score.
Yeah. We're going to have to know where she's at, Tom. That's at all times.
That's her 8th point. Madeline Metallic with 3. That's Madeline's 6th point of the game.
Good bounce pass.
Haley Clampa with a field goal. And the score is tied at 10 with 3 minutes, 10 seconds left in this first quarter. Madeline Metallic didn't get set there, Coach. Kind of shot it off balance. Quick shot.
As I said, Felling averaging 11 3-point attempts a game, shooting 31%. Obviously, she's not afraid to put it up. Now they've moved her inside, so we'll see what happens.
Burbrink with the shot missed. Rebound by Metallic. Pass into Clampett. Tries to get it to Paige Hooper, who has entered the game. Turnover and another turnover. Macy Delisle with a miss. Clampett gets fouled.
Good possession. Some turnovers there, but ended up getting a good shot inside.
And Mary Rose Felling picks up her first foul. Haley Clampett to shoot 2 free throws. Misses the first. Also misses a second. Madeline Metallic comes back with a rebound. Macy Delisle banks one in for her fourth point. And the Plugs have a 2-point lead. It doesn't last long as Catherine Collier gets her first field goal of the night. 12-12 with 1:40 left in this first quarter. Paige Hooper enters the games for the Spark Plugs. Jackson Dietzer, I think, was trying to pass to Haley Clampett and banked one in. Mary Rose Felling, her 10th point of the first quarter.
Spark Plugs on the year have had some trouble seeing the ball go into the basket, so it's good tonight. We've had some, you got to have some shots like that every once in a while. On the season, shooting about 21% from three-point, 54% from the line, so not a lot of success shooting so far this year, but first quarter of tonight's game, not true. Another one.
And Coach, that time she was squared up on line, which she wasn't on the other shot, so kudos to Madeline. It's her third three-pointer of the night. Looks like they're waiting for the last shot. It is 17-14 in favor of the Plugs. Steal by Metallic.
Kind.
Probably my bias, Coach, but it seems like they're a little more physical than we are. It seems like and they have 2 fouls called on them. We have 1. But the Plugs, nevertheless, will take a 17-14 lead after the first quarter.
I would guess, and you've probably seen more of our games than I have, but I would guess that was one of our best quarters of the season against a quality opponent. Our schedules, we have one common opponent. Speedway lost to Monrovia actually last Friday night, 66-40. And Triton Central lost at Monrovia, 65-63. So you know, another thing, you were talking about that last shot that Metallic took and the fact that she was a little bit more balanced. I'll tell you something that's kind of fun to do when you're watching a game on TV, especially collegiately, is when a player gets ready to shoot, make a quick guess of whether or not it's going to go in based on whether or not they're squared up, they're balanced. You would be surprised how many times you can get that call correct. It's kind of fun to do. Sometimes you can't do it because the shots occur too quickly, but you would be surprised how many times you can make that call, whether or not the shot's going to go in, based on whether or not they're squared up, balanced, in rhythm. It's kind of fun to do.
You know, back in the 80s when I was the coach, and like I said, never had an original idea, but Clara Pella with the "Where's the beef?" commercial. It was the very first one was balance, was what the B stood for. Eyes on the rim, elbow underneath the ball, and follow through. Haley Clampett with a field goal to start this quarter.
Right now, we are following that beef instruction to a T, because this is the best that I've seen us shoot the ball this year.
Well, I remember from working at Billy Keller's basketball camp, and like I said, I don't know where I got the idea, but he loved that, and he started using that at every one of his camps. Well, she's shooting better than 31% tonight, as you said. Going to say surely there was a foul in there somewhere. It's on Quinn King. That's her second foul. Plugs lead 19-17.
Speedway substitution, number 14, Siobhan Champion.
And Siobhan Champion enters the game to give Haley Clampett a rest. Champion misses the shot inside. Rebound comes down to Lady Tigers. Mary Rose Felling on the drive, misses. Rebound, but the ball goes out of bounds. No one actually grabbing the rebound. And it'll be Triton Central's ball underneath their own basket. Once again, 6:25 remaining in the second quarter. Speedway with a 19-17 lead. Ball poked out of bounds by Macy Delisle. Triton Central's ball once again.
Speedway foul, number 23,
Macy Delisle with her second foul. Mary Rose Felling with the drive and a nice little teardrop shot. Her 15th point so far, Coach. 15 out of the 19.
She's taken a lot of shots, obviously, but she's a really good shooter as well. On that last possession, Coach Smith was directing our defense as to where Felling was located on the floor. Triton Central running what we would have called a runner offense, where Felling is just running up and across on the baseline from the baseline picks from the two low post players. Real common offense run against a lot of zones.
Yeah. Coach, one of the nemesis they've had all year is turnovers.
Yep.
19-19 the score. 5:28 remaining in this second quarter.
Turnovers are one thing. Unforced turnovers are another thing, as is live ball turnovers. So there's different categories.
Speedway foul.
Foul's going to be on Calissa Jackson Dietzer.
On the line for the Tigers, Sophia Ring.
She shooting? Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Checking in for Speedway, number 32, Haley Clampett.
Coach Smith with a shorter bench than normal tonight. trying to give each of his starters some rest here in the second quarter.
Sparkplugs failed to come up with that rebound, and Coach Smith is going to take a timeout.
A really good timeout. Very close game, 22-19. Not quite, almost halfway through the second quarter. Giving your team a rest, as we talked several times, with a player out tonight, and our team's not that deep normally. Tonight's even more pronounced, so timeouts like this can be good, not just to stop runs, but also to give your team a rest.
In this quarter, Triton Central has outscored the Plugs 8-2. Mary Rose Felling has 5 of those 8 points. As you mentioned, 22-19, 4:46 remaining in this second quarter.
Tom, you mentioned Billy Keller. You've worked them. Years ago, the Pacers used to have a basketball camp, and I've worked a couple times. It was at Rose Holman. I think maybe it was at Marion College too.
Well, yeah.
But parents would ask me when I was coaching, hey, where can I send my child to a camp? And, you know, if you go to the well-known camps, the IU, Purdue, the Notre Dame, it's more a lot about being on campus and, you know, that sort of thing. But if you wanted to go somewhere to learn basketball and to have somebody that's going to be there all the time, it was any place that Billy Keller was instructing. He'd be there all day. He'd be there after dinner at night. He'd be working individually with kids. And I would always tell parents that if you really want to go someplace to have your child learn, Billy Keller, any place where he was working would be a great place to go.
And I would totally concur with that. I know one of the camps I worked for him was at Rose Holman. Some of them were at University of what's now the University of Indianapolis. It was Indiana Central at that time, and also at Marion. As you say, they were usually on college campuses somewhere. You know, one of the things that's impressed me so far, well, several things have impressed me so far about Mary Rose Felling, but one of them, very unselfish.
Kind of a important, not kind of, a very important point in the game right here. Plugs are down by 6, have played really well so far, have been bitten by the turnover bug here recently. Want to keep this game where it's at.
Mary Rose Felling with her 17th point.
Checking in for the Sparkplugs, number 23, Macy Reliable, and number 31, Miley Walton. Tiger substitution, number 10, Quinn.
So turnovers have cost them during this quarter as well, Coach. Much more so than they did in the first quarter.
Now, like I said, a lot of times turnovers that don't need to be forced, don't need to be made. I know Purdue in the past has had trouble sometimes with these sorts of things, and Coach Painter will say, hit the single. Don't try to hit a home run. Just hit a single. Make the easy pass.
Another turnover for the Plugs. And a foul on Madeline Metallic. Mary Rose Felling will go to the line.
Speedway foul, number 11, Madeline Metallic. On the line for the Tigers, Mary Rose Felling.
We've said many times good shooters are usually good free throw shooters as well.
72% from the line on the season, which is really good. Yeah, I think one of the, maybe the best shooter I've seen. It's only halfway through the season, but really good shooter. That helped.
Miley Walton with her first field goal. 8-point lead. Plugs were ahead 3 after the first quarter.
Now that basket right there was due to Felling's scoring up to this point, because she was located in the corner, and as the ball was brought down the floor, 2 of our players were rushing out to make sure that she was not going to get a pass, and that left a wide open player underneath the basket. But that was because of her. It won't show up in the stats sheet, but that was an unassisted assist, I guess is what you would call that.
So Coach Joe Smith calls his second timeout, hoping to close the gap a little with 2 minutes, 3 seconds to go. Plugs down by 10. And, you know, in her defense, Madeline Metallic, a freshman. Another turnover by the Plugs, but big difference between 8th grade basketball and varsity basketball, and not many freshmen in Marion County start on a basketball team as a freshman.
Nope.
Not only is she a good basketball player, she's a good student as well. Felling short, but Plugs failed to come up with a rebound.
Speedway was in a trapping defense when the ball was on the sideline, and that took 2 of our players out of the rebounding position. Always difficult to rebound out of the zone.
Sophia Burbrink hits her second free throw in 5 attempts. Now 3 for 6. She scores her 7th point. Macy Delau with a jump shot, no good.
I believe Macy Delau has 2 fouls. I believe she needs to be a little bit careful here in the last minute of the first half. You don't want to pick the 3rd one up.
Yep. Delau with a long 3-point shot attempt, no good. Miley Walton comes down with a rebound, misses the shot inside. And we've got a jump ball. It'll be Speedway's ball with 58 seconds to go.
Good bucket.
Siobhan Champion scores for the Spark Plugs, her first field goal. Madeline Metallic banks one in. Her 4th 3-pointer of the game. The Plugs have closed it to 7.
Got 13.3 seconds to go till half. Plugs are down by 7.
And that completes the first half with the score Triton Central 33, Speedway 26. We will be right back with your scoring the first half, some comments about first half play.
Speedway Junior High School. The teams are off to a great start to their season. Will play the first game on January 14th. They're looking to improve every day and every practice by pushing themselves to get better. Here are your junior high team members and coaches. First for the 7th grade team, Ariana Purse, Zaylee Craigmile, Kara Taylor, McKenna Sturgeon, Ellen Kentman, Naomi Zapata, Harper Howry, Vanessa Reed, Shevriah Wilson, and Elizabeth Rios Vargas. The 8th grade team, first up, Katie Taylor, Harper Stone, Della Young, Braylee Dinwiddie, Riley Wilkerson, Lynn James, Katie Jones, McKenna Freegee, Michaela White, and Makia White. Coaches for the teams are Kristen Smith and David Garrett. Let's give one last round of applause for the Speedway Junior High School Ladies Club basketball team.
We are back at halftime. It is the Triton Central Tigers 33, Speedway 26. Triton Central's had 4 girls score on their team. Mary Rose Felling leading, scoring 21 of the 33 points they have. Layla Compta has a field goal. Sawyer Murdick has a field goal. And Sophia Burbick, a 5'6" sophomore, has 8 points for Triton Central. They scored 14 points the first quarter, 19 the second quarter for their total of 33. The Sparkplugs, Madeline Metallic, 6-foot freshman guard, has 4 3-pointers for her 12 points. Calissa Jackson Dietzer has 2 points. Siobhan Champion has 2 points. Macy Delisle has 4 points. Miley Walton has 2, and Haley Clampett has 4. For 6 different scores for the Sparkplugs, the leading score once again that first half was Madeline Metallic. For their total of 26 points, they had 17 the first quarter and were outscored 19-9 the second quarter. But they were down 10. I think that was the biggest deficit.
Yep,
Was 12 points, and they cut it to 7 at halftime. There is nobody in foul trouble. Quinn King has 2 for Triton Central, and Amy Delisle has 2 for the Sparkplugs. Coach, some thoughts?
We got some team statistics. Sparkplugs are 11 for 25 from the field. It's around 44%. Free throws only shot 2, 0 for 2, 14 rebounds, and 14 turnovers. For Triton Central, 12 for 33 from the field, so Sparkplugs are doing a better job defensively. 5 for 8 from the line, rebounding 11, and only 7 turnovers. That you know, you hate to keep bringing it up, but that difference in turnovers in a lot of these games is the difference. And again, it was first quarter was one of our best quarters, as you mentioned earlier. The second quarter we got off and had some turnovers, but when you have a differential of 7 to 10 turnovers in a game, if you're shooting 40%, you know, that's 8 points you're not getting. And we're not asking to be error-free. That's never going to happen.
No.
And again, a lot of them are younger players, situations they probably have never seen before. Triton does a really good job, as a lot of good teams do. After every timeout, it seems like they're going to a different defense. So whatever we're talking about may not be applying when we get on the floor. But the longer that our team plays, the more games we get in, the more times we see things, they'll learn that. But that still remains, to me, the biggest probably issue with our team. I think Coach Smith probably would agree with it as well.
Here we go to start the second half. We've got a jump ball.
Yeah, you mentioned the lead. It was up to 12, and it was like that was about a minute and a half to go in a half, and it kind of looked like it could really take off the other direction. Sparkplugs scored the last 5 points to cut it to 7. Good movement. Didn't get the basket, but great job of attacking that. I don't know where she's at.
What is that?
You know, I noticed that after the halftime, she came out and by herself actually was shooting. And the first 10 shots she took were all within 5-6 feet of the basket, just working on her form.
She's a good shooter, and as we said earlier, very unselfish as well. Yep. Rebounded by Miley Walton. Up ahead to Macy Delisle. Madeline Metallic for 3. No good. Haley Clampett comes down with a rebound. Turns it over. They do a good job of getting it into the high post and then doing something positive with it. I know Coach Pollard years ago, throughout his career, and I know when I was playing here, he felt like if you got the ball to the high post, you ought to score 50 to 60% of the time. Miley Walton on the drive misses. Macy DeLisle gets the rebound.
Good.
Puts it back up and in.
Yeah, if you get the ball to the middle, you can go either direction.
Mary Rose Felling has all 6 points that the Tigers have this quarter.
I think he called palming, it looked like. I saw that called 2 weeks ago in the game, and I mentioned it. It's the first time I've seen that called maybe in 5 years. I believe that's at least the signal was palming.
We've got a jump ball, and it'll be a spark plug ball. 39-28. We've said this before in games, Coach, but the spark plug's got to stay close, because if Triton Central gets a lead, they're going to hold the ball, and they're good free throw shooters.
Yeah.
Calissa Jackson Dietzer picks up her second foul.
Yeah, the 10 or 11 point zone is critical, because 2 or 3 baskets is the difference between a 5-point lead and a 15-point lead.
Sophia Burbrink hits 1 of 2 free throws. It's 40-28, so matches their largest lead. Macy DeLisle, a 3-point shot, no good. Madeline Metallic with a rebound. Falling out of bounds, a turnover for the Spark Plugs. Good job by Calissa Jackson Dietzer. Madeline Metallic. Coach, we need to talk to these officials. I think she got fouled on that shot. There's no call. And we're paying the officials, and we've shot 2 free throws all night long. Her third foul.
And that was a play where we might have lucked out, because I thought maybe Jackson Dietzer had fouled her on that shot.
Still 40-28, 3:21 left in this third quarter. Haley Clampett might have needed a suitcase for that move.
Yes, that was, again, they're attacking that correctly. Just got to be able to finish the play off.
Did they call traveling?
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
I never saw the signal. I saw the ball go in, but I never saw. And she did travel.
Yeah.
On the line for the Tigers, Sophia Burbrink.
Sophia Burbrink at the line again. She's making a career high of
Number 31, Haley Clampett.
this is her 10th free throw coming up.
On the season, as I said, she was shooting 55%. I think it went up tonight.
Timeout, Tigers. This is a full timeout.
Triton Central, we mentioned their early season struggles, but they were against 4 pretty good teams. They lost 3 road games at Batesville, at Eastern Hancock, and at Monrovia. And they lost to Heritage Christian, who's always good at a home game. So early part of this schedule for the Tigers was pretty difficult. Their wins here have come against Morristown, Waldron, Cecina, Southwestern Shelby County, and Ritter. And the loss in that area there was to Rushville, and that was only by 5 points, 52-47.
Well, they've opened up a 14-point lead in this second quarter as the Plugs have been held to 2 points this quarter. First quarter they scored 17, second quarter 9, and 2 here in the third. That's her fourth foul.
On the line for the Tigers, Quinn King.
That was a case on a troubled inbounds pass that Quinn King.
For Speedway, 23.
And again, after the timeout, a change of defenses, and it gave us problems.
The Lady Tigers have shot 14 free throws in this game.
Tiger foul, number 13, Mary Rose Felling.
Mary Rose Felling with her second. Haley Clampa with a putback.
I
Her
think
sixth point of the game.
I think it's another area where we've improved tonight. It seems like we've gotten a lot of second shots and at least kept the ball alive a lot of times after our first shots.
Traveling against the Lady Tigers. Once again, Coach, in the last 2 minutes of this quarter, we need to cut the gap a little, and a pass from Macy Delisle to Miley Walton for the field goal for her first point. Mary Rose Felling comes right back with another field goal.
That's going to be her
That'll be
third.
her third foul.
Tiger foul, number 13, Mary Rose Felling. Checking in for the Tigers, number 1, Layla Compton, and number 24, Cheyenne Allen.
You know, we've talked about this before too. When no matter how, if they're a good player or whatever, best player or not, learning how to play with 3 fouls this early in the game. I say early, we're not even in the fourth quarter yet. Very important, because you want your best players on the court. And not that you're not going to do anything, but you've got to be aware of the fact that you've got 3 fouls and you don't want to pick the fourth one up.
Be nice for us if she did.
Yes. And I think she's been guarding Metallic, so we'll see if that changes.
Madeline Metallic gets the rebound for the Spark Plugs, down 13. Macy Delisle for 3. That's her 9th point on the night.
She answers about every time. Good look. Good look.
Paige Hooper for her first field goal. Mary Rose Felling, a great shot fake, drove around, had a nice little shot. It didn't go in, but she's hit 2 or 3 of these in that game. In the game, little baseline.
Yep.
20 seconds left in this third quarter. Plugs trail by 11.
That's it.
Field goal for Haley Clampett. The assist from Macy Delisle.
Speedway foul, number 23, Macy Delisle.
Macy Delisle picks up her third foul.
Helps.
Misses the first. Hits the second. So a 10-point lead for Triton Central at the end of 3 quarters.
Once again, I think relative to a lot of the games I've seen this year, I think Speedway is doing a nice job, especially offensively. Good ball movement. We've attacked the zones correctly. I know against the 1-3-1, we're looking opposite. Moving the ball, getting it inside, getting some easy shots. Macy Delisle has to shoot it. She's somebody that on our team can get hot from deep, and those threes can mount up pretty quickly. But a lot of good things. As you said, Spark Plugs are down 49-39 going into the final quarter. Talked about Triton Central's schedule. Speedway will have their final game before Christmas this Saturday evening at Southport. And that will begin a stretch of 6 consecutive games on the road for the Sparkplugs. Actually, after tonight and after Saturday, the season is a little bit more than half over already. I thought we were in the box and won, but I don't believe. I think it was just our standard zone, and our defender on that side was making sure that she didn't touch it. Missed 2.
Speedway foul, number 11, Madeline Metallic.
Sparkplug second
Metallic with her
quarter.
second foul.
Yep, second foul of the quarter. I know it's the second year of this, but I'm still having to remind myself on the free throw situation. It's the 5th foul of each quarter. Good anticipation.
Good hustle by Haley Clampett. Macy Delisle with a rebound.
Oh. I'm glad that was a no call. Yeah, Tom, I think it is a box and one, or a chaser and one, I should say.
Turnover by the Sparkplugs. Layup at the other end.
You know, I had mentioned earlier about Triton Central's tournament history, and I brought up the fact that they were many years in the same sectional as Rushville. Rushville probably not recently as dominant as they were
in the Cinda Brown area.
Exactly, but still 34 sectional championships, 11 regionals, 4 semi-states. So they were in the state finals 4 times. So that's the team, kind of like we were. We're playing against Pike and Ben Davis, but they only had the one team. We had 2 or 3 teams, or actually 4.
So Triton Central this quarter has outscored the Plugs 5-0. Again, it was 49-39 at the end of 3 quarters. Good job by Haley Clampett. Aubrey Loyal with a short jumper misses.
Ooh. Ever since Fouling picked up her third foul, all the possessions since then have been some type of a zone. They're trying to make sure that they're able to keep her on the floor.
Madeline Metallic with the field goal. This will be the third free throw for the Spark Plugs tonight. And the Plugs 0 for 3 from the field free throw line. The jump ball will be Speedway's ball. Once again, I think Triton Central shot somewhere around 16 or 17 free throws.
Plugs are averaging around 10 free throws a game on this season.
Mesa Delisle for 3. That's her 12th point on the night. 57-44, 4:50 left in the game. Miley Walton checks back into the game. You know, we basically with a player short with Addie Haberman Smith not here tonight, you really had 5 players with varsity experience playing. So they've had to use JV players. And Madeline Metallic hits a 3 for her 5th point this quarter. 17th point on the night. Miley Walton comes down with a rebound.
There's a case too, and I don't know if any of her teammates saw that developing, but teammates have to yell at each other in a situation like that to warn players that somebody's behind you, be careful.
Foul on Madeline Metallic, her 3rd.
On the line for the Tigers, Sophia Bergreen.
Twelve free throws on the night for Sophia. Free throw shot. She missed 4, 8 for 12. Quinn King with a field goal after the turnover on the Spark Plugs part. Haley Clampett for 2. And that's Haley's 10th point on the night.
Good ball movement.
3-point shot by Sawyer Murdoch. Her 5th point on the night. Another turnover by the Plugs. Layup by Quinn King. Quinn King has 6 points this quarter. All on layup, 66-49, so a 17-point lead with 3 minutes to go. I'm sure Coach Smith is saying something along the lines, okay, we got 3 minutes. See what we can do in 3 minutes. You're not going to come back realistically and win at this point in time, but trying to find little segments of times where you're doing what needs to be done to get good shots.
Yeah, as long as there's time on the board, there's always something that you can be working on.
So on the floor right now for the Spark Plugs, 2 juniors. one senior, freshman and a sophomore. Haley Clampa with the jumper again.
Tiger foul, number 10, Quinn King.
Quinn King, her third foul. Spark plug ball underneath the basket. Miley Walton will inbound it. It goes into Madeline Metallic for her 7th point in the quarter, 19th point on the night.
Speedway foul, number 32, Haley Clampa.
Haley Clampa with the foul.
Tigers, Mary Rose Belling.
Another turnover by the Spark Plugs. Quinn King misses shot attempt. Macy Delisle with a rebound. Madeline Metallic with the 2-point field goal. 68-53, 2 minutes remaining in the game. Haley Clampa with the rebound. Haley Clampa gets the rebound. Turnover. Foul on Miley Walton.
Speedway foul, number 31, Miley Walton.
Quinn King will go to the line. Misses the first. 0 for 3 from the free throw line on the night.
Checking in for Speedway, number 30, Gracie Tinky.
Gracie Tinky into the lineup for the Spark Plugs.
Number 43, Lily Filippini.
Gracie, a freshman.
Tiger foul, number 10, Quinn King.
Her 4th foul. Spark Plugs will have the ball out of bounds. Good pass inside to Miley Walton for her 6th point of the night.
Speedway foul, number 23, Macy Delisle.
Macy Delisle on the
On the line
foul.
for the Tigers,
Her
Sawyer
4th.
Burdick.
Sawyer Burdick at the line misses her first free throw. And the second. 31 seconds left in the ball game. Triton Central with a 14-point lead. Coach, I think our girls have played hard tonight. Once again, turnovers was kind of a bugaboo tonight. But they played against one of the best players, in my view, they're going to see all year long.
Would agree with all those. We shot the ball, I think, better.
And that's going to complete the ball game with the final score. Triton Central 69. Speedway Sparkplug, Lady Sparkplugs 55.
Trash cans on your way out of Morris Pollard Gymnasium. We certainly appreciate your help. Good luck to the Tigers the rest of the season. Lady Sparkplugs are back in action on the road against the Southport Cardinals Saturday night. JV tips off at 6 p.m. with varsity scheduled at 7:30.
Once again, here from Morris Pollard Gymnasium, Speedway High School falls tonight to the Triton Central Tigers in our varsity girls basketball game, 69-55. We'll talk about one score for Triton Central. I had her for 38, if I'm correct. Wow. Unselfish play, good shooter. You know, maybe next year, Indiana All-Star type player. Very unselfish, and Mary Rose Felling. For the Sparkplugs, Madeline Metallic was her leading scorer with 21. Macy Delisle had 12. Haley Clampett had 10. Miley Walton 6. Siobhan Champion 2. Calissa Jackson Dietzer 2. And Paige Hooper 2 for the Sparkplugs points. So, Coach, you've got some stats there.
Yeah, Sparkplugs 24 for 48 from the field, 50%. Again, that's got to be the best shooting that we've had this season. 31 rebounds, 30 turnovers. There again, which is we've talked a lot about. You hate to keep harping on it, but Triton Central had 13 turnovers, so there's a difference of 17, probably 17 more shots that the Tigers are going to get up than the Sparkplugs. Triton 22 for 61 from the field, not great. 16-26 from the line and 18 rebounds. So, you know, I think probably the final thing here that Plugs got to work on to overcome are the turnovers, and if they do that, just looking down the line at the schedule, there's some games that we can be competitive in and can win, but we do have to cut down on those though. Sparkplugs finish up their pre-Christmas schedule Saturday night at Southport. And then, as I said, that starts a string of 6 consecutive games on the road. Be at Indian Creek, at Tech, at Crawfordsville, at Beech Grove, at Sheridan. Plugs will not be home again until January 21st, which is Western Boone. So,
and I know of that group, Sheridan has a really good player too. But hopefully we can get on a little winning streak. Hopefully we can get by a game at Southport on Saturday, and then, like you say, you're on the road, and who knows how we'll play on the road because we haven't had very many road games up to this point. But we'll be right back and talk to Coach Joe Smith in just a moment.
Welcome back one more time tonight from Pollard Gymnasium, where the Triton Central Lady Tigers have defeated Speedway 69-58. As always, I'm here with Coach Joe Smith after the game. Coach, I've only seen the home games this year, but have seen all of them. And I thought overall, it always helps when you shoot better.
It does.
When a ball goes in the basket, it doesn't matter what's going on. It always makes you look like you're playing better. But I thought you did. I thought there were a lot of positive things tonight that you can work on going forward.
Yeah, we did. And I said, well, one of the officials, which is a guy that I've known for a long time, he stopped by the bench like in the last 30 seconds or so. He goes, "That's the best basketball game I've officiated all year." He said, "Your kids play basketball the way it's supposed to be played. They played their tails off, and that was good to hear because we haven't always done that." And I felt like from tip-off to final buzzer, I thought we played really hard. And I told him, I said, if you can just play hard, everything else will take care of itself. So I think they have that feeling now of what it feels like. But, yeah, they can shoot the basketball, and you got a player like Felling, and it's a game changer. But we knew that she was like that, and we tried some different things defensively. You know, we played our 3-2. We did some 1-2-2 traps, and we actually went to a box and one for a while to see if just what that would be like. And then, you know, you get to a point and you got to go man.
Sure.
And but I thought our kids did a pretty good job. I thought our three mainstays played really well. The girls that have to score for us scored for us, and you know, 55 points, and geez, we had it within 10, and you know, and I kind of was like, well, guys, he's still trapping us, and but we did cut it to 10, and you know, if we're cutting it to 10, he's like, I better put pressure on him, and that might be the difference in maybe us coming back and beating them if they didn't do that.
Sure. 38 points Felling had tonight, and she is a really good player. This is a good basketball team. We talked earlier before, and I think I put some of my notes away. Since the year 2000, 24 seasons, they've had one losing season in the last 24. They didn't have all the tournament success for a while in single class because they were always stuck with Rushville. And Rushville had that big run with Cinda Brown. But a lot of good things. I know you were short a player tonight, and you were doing a good job of giving our players a rest when they needed. So let's go ahead now. You got Saturday night. We go to Southport. And then that is our last game before the Christmas vacation.
That's right.
Now the last time we'll see you tonight will be tonight. How do you go forward then after the Southport game?
So we'll basically take all next week off. We'll have a team dinner and a team gift exchange that we do every year. Everybody comes over to my house on Monday, and we have a team lunch that we give the kids and let them just hang out and have some fun. And then we'll take all next week off. And then we'll practice the 30th again, so that following Monday. And then we don't play again till that Saturday. So we'll get 5 full practices in before we have to play. So, and it's a formidable opponent. It's Indian Creek.
Indian Creek. Yeah, I saw that on
so we've had our runs with them, and, you know, we got beat by them a few years back in the sectional final down at their place, and had it just right there. And they don't have that caliber of team, but they still are really good. But they're going to be in our new conference, so we had an opening, so we thought, why not? Let's just do it, and it's just going to be easier on, as you remember, the athletic director side of things. It's easier, so Dan Maple's like, okay, at least they're on the schedule. That's one less thing I have to worry about. So, but I think January will be really good to us. I mean, we play some good teams, but we play some teams that we should be able to beat. We'll play some teams that it could be very competitive, and it could go either way. So, but like I told Tom before the game, you know, we're about where I thought we would be right now. But I am very encouraged by the way we played tonight. Lost, yes, not happy with the loss, but really encouraged by the way our kids played.
I would be too. And you mentioned when you were going to come back for practice December 30th, you do remember the first practices after a Christmas vacation.
It's always the worst. We'll have the trash cans out in the corners of the floor.
So you do that, and you basically go to the last 4 practices. But Well, anyway, once again, the final score tonight, 69-55. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Yunko's Hollinger Racing, that's Speedway's hometown racing team, Speedway Lions Club, The American Legion Post 500. There's a treasure hunt every Thursday open to the public. Speedway Public Library and the ISC Sports Network. Local lives here. Like to thank our workers, the people that run all this behind the scenes. Brian Pierce, Bill P., and Fernando Flores was here tonight. He got here a little bit late, I believe, but I saw him sprinting by here. But did a great job. And this will be the last game before the vacation. So we wish everybody a very happy, a very safe holiday season. Hope it is well. I hope everybody stays safe, as I said, and enjoys it. So once again, from Pollard Gymnasium, 6955, Ron Probst with Joe Smith. Good evening, everybody.